have to buy, right? Like you should never have to buy gas to put in your car, nigga. Your shit should run off of a fucking Tesla tower that's in the center of your city that just powers everything. But why? They have to have you have gas that runs out when you put it in your tank. So you have to go back and buy more. They have to have you addicted like a crackhead. You see what I said? They could plant fruit trees everywhere. Just have fruit trees growing everywhere. Just fruit trees growing everywhere. Why don't they? Because they have to keep you going to their store like a crackhead. Food is like crack to us. It shouldn't be crack. Why the fuck is food crack? It's crack. You're crackhead. We're crackheads to food because we have to go to them to go buy from the drug dealer our food, and it's all poisons, and it's literally as drugs. It's not even healthy, right? So think about it. Why don't they plant fruit trees every fucking where, like when we're back in Nubia, back in Tartaria, back in Kush? There's fruit trees everywhere, so anybody can just sit down and eat a motherfucking fruit. The best thing for you anyway, right? Isn't that the H3O shit everybody's talking about? You would never have to eat shit, buy shit from anybody. Go fucking throw a line in the water if you feel like eating a fish one day. I don't know. You understand? Got some sugar cane. You got all this fucking shit. Nuts and all kind of stuff. Just growing everywhere. Why don't you have that? Come on, man. Like, that's just the most obvious shit to anybody on earth. Why wouldn't there just be fruit trees and plants that are edible everywhere? Then who would have to worry about a grocery store if you had cabbage, everything growing? They just grow wild. Just let the shit grow. You don't cut nothing down. Just let shit grow. You want to build something? Fine. Build it, but then just let nature live free. Why would you have to do all this? It just makes common sense. It's just common sense, bro. You know how easy, like, let's just say corn, for instance. Like, I don't even like corn like that, but let's just take it for instance, right? You know, plant corn, man, corn will just grow. Birds will come and eat some of it, plant some over there. They just grow. You see wild corn growing everywhere if you leave the shit tropical. You know what I mean? Shit like that. Like, what? Bro, it's just ridiculous. Potatoes, dog. How you think we have potatoes? Because potatoes, you just grow out in the wild. Motherfuckers pick potatoes and then brought them back to their house and learned how to grow it. You understand? Them shits always grow. Yam, cassava, them things grow in the wild. You think we invented those things? And then put them in nature? Fam, do the math. Everything you eat, wild rice, the best rice for you. I watch Native Americans on a fucking video. They go out in their canoe and they just bend the rice stalks. They just grow wild out in fucking Louisianas and shit. And they just bend that shit and slap it in the boat. And then you look, it's just rice piled up in their boat. Rice, nigga. Rice. And I'm like, dude, that's how she...
You happen to disrespect the divine feminine energy, you better go back and apologize. When I say we rising in frequency, that means we going back to the divine feminine energy being at her highest point and the divine masculine energy being at its highest point. And for both to be at their highest point, the disrespect of the black God has to stop. Remember, the black woman is God. She created us, and then we created everything else. So we can't disrespect the God and then think we gonna be good. But that's what they manipulated our species to do. In the house that Sam built. They got us calling our women bitches, hoes. I participated myself. Bitch ain't shit. But some pussy. That's how I used to think.
Now, the first book we're going to start out with is Melanin, The Basic Guide to Knowledge Itself by Baba Lawrence. Now, it's very imperative for every black person to get this book because it's comprised of certain information that lets you know who you are genetically, because the primary source of systematic racism is based on genealogical self-preservation. So now you can kind of understand why the vast majority of these eugenics programs extract stem cells, prokaryotes, and melanocytes from black bodies, because there's a certain demographic of people, or they're trying to ascend into the fourth and fifth dimension. Now, once you get in to the meat and potatoes of this book, you can kind of understand why the book specifies that black people has the same genetical makeup as bees, because melanin is condensed sunlight. Sunlight and solar radiation, plasmic radiation, makes things levitate. So it is scientifically proven that the bee is not supposed to be flying because the bee's wings is too small and the mass weight of the bee is way too heavy for it to be flying. So it's not even actually flying. It's actually levitating at an frequency. So this is why I be telling people, you know, telling niggas that if black people wasn't so acclimated to westernized psychology and Western diets and things of that nature, we will be able to raise our frequency and raise our biofield to where we will actually be levitating as well, because melanin is condensed sunlight, like I said, and that basically specifies the fact that we are connected to the source, and everything based on our genetic makeup defies gravity. Every element that's in the periodic table is inside your body. So also, this book talks about how sexual energy is being weaponized through the hip hop industry. It doesn't actually say that verbatim, but once you break everything down and you come up with your own, context clues based on that information, the sexual energy is synonymous to the somatic frequency that sits at the base of the spine. So that sexual energy,
your body, bringing you 12 kinds of energy which you could utilize. And they messed with 11 of them. Cut them, and they're now what they call junk DNA. There is no such thing as junk DNA. Go back and tell your professors I told them that, and they lie. Or they're ignorant and they shouldn't be professors teaching genetics. Junk DNA are those strands that were cut, and when they weave back together again, and they're going to, you will have the power potential of 50 gods. 50 in your body, bringing you 12 kinds of energy which you could utilize.